Hello everybody and welcome back to the Spooky Time with Jay channel. I want to give a warning before today's video. We will be talking about sensitive subject matter, so you have been warned. Let's dive in. Today we are talking about MKUltra. What's crazy about MKUltra is a lot of people think it's like a myth or that it didn't happen. It 100% happened. It's confirmed by the CIA. It was a program started by the CIA to see if they could, it's like mind control. They wanted to see if they could change mind states and pretty much fuck with the human mind. Like I said, it was an illegal mind control program started by the CIA in 1953 and it ended in 1973. It lasted 2 decades. And I fell down this rabbit hole, and it's very, very dark, and I had to make a video about it, and it's a wild ride, so buckle up. So MKUltra, like I said, was started in 1953, and it was really brought to light by CIA director Alan Dulles, and he wanted to use it because he was hearing of alleged North Korean, Soviet, and China mind control tactics being used, and he kind of wanted to jump in on all the action and see if they could do that here in the United States. The CIA said these were all just techniques they were using to try to do some sort of behavioral modification. They wanted to see if they could change the mind state and the behaviors of certain people by putting them through certain experiences. And that is a real nice and light way to describe it for sure, because it definitely was a lot darker than just behavioral modifications. Let's go over some of these techniques that they used in Project MKUltra. The main and most notable one is that they administered high doses of LSD and other mind-bending drugs. They administered high voltage electric shocks to the brain, sleep deprivation, sensory deprivation, and hypnosis. These techniques were all used, and they're bad enough that they were used in general, but when you find out they were done on unwilling subjects, it gets a lot more sinister. The CIA specifically targeted people who were vulnerable, like people in mental institutions and homeless and like minority groups. It was really fucking grimy and gross, the people that they actually use these techniques on. Like, these people had no other options, so if they said they were willing, they really fucking weren't. They were coerced by the government to do these things. At one point, the CIA even set up safe houses where prostitutes would bring men back, and then those men would be subjects and administered with high doses of hallucinogenic and psychedelic drugs. That is one of the craziest things I've ever heard. That is not, in my opinion, a willing subject. That is pretty much coercing someone who thinks they are ordering a prostitute, and then they are getting injected or dosed with these drugs against their will. That's how it seems to me. If the administering of psychedelic drugs like LSD and other drugs, they even said that in the files, wasn't bad enough, they also used the sleep deprivation and the sensory deprivation and like the hypnosis as a way to break down the subject's wills, their willpower. They wanted them a shell of themselves so they could fuck with their brains, and that is something you would think you would see in like a horror movie or a psychological thriller or a sci-fi movie, but this shit really happened. All the files are online. The CIA does not even like try to hide it these days. Could you imagine the government coming to you and saying, hey, we're going to do some testing on you, some techniques, we're going to see if we can just do these experiments to see if we can change your mind state a little bit, and it really just ends up we're injecting you or with a drug or giving you LSD or doing electroshock therapy on you, sleep deprivation, sensory deprivation, hypnosis, and your brain is completely being bended. Like, these people were never the same after they came out of the MKUltra program. It's also said that these high voltage electric shocks to the brain and the drug administrations would leave the subjects in a drug-induced coma for up to like months at a time, and this was so they could wipe the subject's brain so they wouldn't remember any of these experiments being done on them. But in reality, what it did was it just left them with permanent brain damage. They, like I said, they were never the same once they got out of these programs, and that is just so fucking terrifying for me to think about. They went into this, some of them I guess were willing, I guess they did it willingly, but they targeted these people. Some were unwilling though, but some of even the willing ones came out just never the same, and they were permanently fucked up and pretty much lobotomized. There is a very sad account of an army scientist, a high-ranking army scientist named Frank Olson. He fell from a 10th story hotel window after unknowingly being dosed with a high dose of LSD. He fell to his death. And the family of Frank Olson stood by that he was murdered because the CIA didn't want him leaking the information and the details of Project MKUltra. They even came at their own people. And I 100% believe Frank Olson was murdered. I stand with the family's belief on that. It's not crazy to think about. If he was threatening to release information that was going on, or even say he's going to do the right thing and come out about this and tell everyone what happened. Yeah. It's just crazy he was unknowingly dosed with LSD. That probably scrambled his brains. So, very sad. Very sad. I would like to know if he actually jumped, like he had a mental break and jumped, or if he was pushed from that 10th story hotel window. These experiments went on for 20 years. 2 decades, and I don't understand how that's possible, but it, like, without them being found out, like, that they were doing this was the underground program, and they didn't want the outside world knowing about it, and I don't even think they wanted everyone in the CIA didn't want everyone in the government knowing about it. So in 1973, Richard Helms, which was the director of the CIA at the time, ordered all MKUltra documents to be destroyed. He tried to do a mass cover-up. But, we found out. So how did we find out? Because someone fucked up, and there were some files that were budgetary files for MKUltra that weren't destroyed properly and were discovered, and the CIA then admitted everything. We know everything now. I don't think we know everything. I think a lot of shit's still being kept a secret because I'm a conspiracy theorist. I don't think we know everything, and I think that there's still a lot going on in today's government. MKUltra could still be running, and we wouldn't even fucking know it. So why did I want to tell you about this? One, I feel like I said, a lot of people think that this was a myth, that MKUltra happened. It is not a myth. You can go online right now and look at CIA documents, big university documents that admit that MKUltra happened, that the project was actually conducted and these experiments were done on subjects. But also, I think it's important to just shed light to some of the crazy shit that has happened. I am appalled that this could happen. I'm appalled that they targeted minorities and people with mental institutions and with mental problems. I am fucking appalled that our country was capable of this. And if you don't think our country is still not capable of this, you're fooling yourself. But yeah, guys, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Very different than what I usually do. I'm transitioning more into conspiracy theories, cryptids, urban legends, stuff like that, because I'm really passionate about it, and I'm just a nerd in that way. So yeah, thank you guys so much for the support. I hope you liked the video. Stay safe, stay vigilant, and also, trust no one.